Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a Draculaura inspired Monster High kind of look. This is going along with my kind of wigs that match a vibe of outfit series I'm doing over on my other platforms. If you guys want to check that out, feel free. All the links are down below for that stuff. But today we are doing like Draculaura light. So I am not painting my face pink. However, our eyes are going to be very, very pink. So I started with my eye base and my super white brow bone. And then for the crease, I went in with a dark fuchsia. This is pretty close to the doll makeup. It's not a complete recreation. It's just something pretty close. Like I said, it's like Draculaura light. It's definitely a more wearable version. If you're doing like a little subtle cosplay of her, this is the makeup I would do, even though it's still bold and bright and very pink. It's just a little homage to her look. So after I got done with that very bright pink, I went in with a deeper, more purpley based pink and started putting this on the outer corner of my eye. I will not lie, I used about 2 brushes for this whole look, so you do not need a lot for this. It is more so about layering and working within this same color palette and just really blending everything out. So after I added that extra depth with that dark purple on the outside of my lid, I went in and just super blended it, pulling it towards the inner half of my lid. And then I went in with this very light baby pink. You could do a white, you could even go a 1 shade lighter, I would say, with this, but you want something that is very, very soft so that that eye looks very highlighted, and it's going to help make your eye look bigger, more doll-like, and just more like youthful and Draculaura-esque. Now for the eyeliner, I didn't do her little spider webs. If I was doing this for Halloween, I would definitely do a more spider webby type look, but I decided to just do a nice sharp thin wing. You don't need to do something very big because you don't want to cover up all that beautiful blending of all those beautiful pinks and purples you just did. So I went very slow, very sharp, as you can see, and not really letting my brush get dry. That is a big thing I have learned with doing my eyeliner. As time goes on, I get better and better at it. But keeping my brush wet, whether it's with like a teeny tiny bit of water or a product, it is so helpful. Then I went in with this Kylie Cosmetics mascara I got in like a free gift from Ulta. This stuff is horrid. It is so dry and so clumpy. I was very unimpressed, Miss Jenner. But then after that, I got over it and did my eyebrows. You could do a much darker eyebrow, but I was filming this look with several different outfits, so I didn't want to do a very, very dark black brow if I wasn't wearing a very, very dark black wig. So after that, we're going in with the skin prep. This is my normal everyday skin prep. We go in with the serum stick that gives us that little bit of skincare, hydration, serum, all that jazz. And then I went in with the actual makeup primer. That is my Brighten Your Day primer from Wet n Wild. And just massage this into the skin. And then you know her, you love her, you know I cannot live without her at the moment because she's my only foundation that matches my skin, the Pretty Fresh foundation from ColourPop. I am just patting this all in with a sponge. I will say this foundation lays very, very differently when you are using a brush versus when you are using a sponge. The sponge works so much better, in my opinion. It keeps everything from getting overly wet, if that makes sense. The brush just seems to not really, I don't know, just it just doesn't massage it in as well into the skin. I think this is definitely a foundation that was made to be used with a sponge, to be feathered out, very light. Using a brush, just it does not look good. So then I went in with a very light layer of concealer. I just put it on my sponge directly and then blended it out, put a little bit on my nose, give me a little bit of shape there. And then I went in with this Laura Mercier powder. I had never ever used this powder before, and I understand the hype now. It is so soft. It sets everything so well without making you cakey. Like, I understand why people love it. I know it's a little bit pricey, but I understand why people pay for it now because it's a powder that actually works. I don't really use loose powder much anymore unless I get it in a bag like this where it's a free gift. So I am happy to have it in the collection for now. And then for my contour, I didn't do anything too out of the normal realm of what I do. I will say I did not come down with it as far because Draculaura does have a little bit more of a round cheek like I do. So I just brought the contour from the hollow of the cheek, the very beginning of the hollow, and then brushed it up, and then just used little circular motions to blend that all out. And then I even went over top of it with my Laura Mercier powder so it wasn't too dark because I didn't want to be too bronzy for this. And then I just went down the sides of my nose with the leftover bronzer. Now for blush, we worked in layers for this. This is my like pinky purple cool toned blush. I think it's most akin to the color of Draculaura's skin in the cartoons and dolls. So I really packed this on my cheeks and my nose just to give me that little sense of her super, super pink skin. And then for highlight, I went in with a highlight that is also like a cool purpley tone, like it kind of lives in that same color family, and added that to my nose and my cheeks and the bridge of my nose. Of course, I threw on some lashes because now my lashes were all clumpy. So I threw on just a little pair of wispies just to give us a little bit of drama. You could always do a much bigger lash than this, but I wanted to keep her pretty simple because Draculaura does have big lashes, but I didn't want to cover up all that work I had done. And then I went in with just a little bit of black liner that I had super, super sharpened so that I could get right up underneath that lash line. Just used a little bit of that black pencil under there to give us just a little definition, give the eyes a little bit of a finished off look. I didn't smoke anything out. I didn't do anything too insane. I just did a little bit of underlining. And then I went in with this raspberry colored liquid lipstick and really made sure to get the Cupid's bow very highlighted because she does have a very rounded out top lip, and then the bottom lip is very heavy as well. So I made sure to really focus on my edges, make sure they were nice and crisp and together. Of course, I didn't paint her little teeth on, but you could always add that too. And then, of course, the wig and the outfit, everything is pink and black. The wig is from Spirit Halloween. I just tried this on for the first time and had to do a little adjusting. But overall, this is the look. I hope you guys enjoyed.